This is RD Sharma solution, class 12, chapter 13, derivatives as a rate measure. Multiple choice question we are taking. V is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube, volume is given. At what rate in cubic units is V increasing? When radius is equal to 10 and dr by dt is equal to 0.01. Now we have this volume as 4 by 3 pi r cube. Now at what rate the volume is increasing, that is we are interested in dV by dt. So first we'll take V. V is 4 by 3 pi r cube. And dV by dt will be what? It will be, in previous question I told you that it will be 4 pi r square dr by dt, because 3 r cube is 3 r square, 3 gets cancelled, you get 4 pi r square, and then we have dr by dt also because we are differentiating with respect to t. So 4 pi r square, r is what? 10. So it will be 10 into 10, that is 10 100. And then we have dr by dt, which is 0.01. So just put it here, 0.01. So this is 1 by 100. You can just cancel this 10 into 10 with 100 and you will get 4 pi dV by dt. This is volume cubic unit by time. It will be cubic unit by time. What is the answer? This 4 pi is your answer. Side of an equilateral triangle expands at the rate of 2 centimeter per second. So side, if you assume it to be S or X. So in equilateral triangle, all the sides are equal and all the angles are also equal. So these angles and side are equal. Actually, the angles are 60 degree each. So if you assume the side to be X, dx by dt is given as 2 centimeter per second. The rate of increase of its area when each side is 10 centimeter. Area is what? This A, dA by dt. This has to be computed when each side is 10 centimeters, so x is equal to 10. So we have area formula like this. So just write like this. I'm just differentiating it. dA by dt is going to be equal to root 3 by 4 x square. Differentiation of x square will be 2x. Then we have dx by dt. Okay, x square we have assumed it s as x. So we have root 3 by 4 to what is x here? This dx by dt is already given, x is also given, x is 10 and dx by dt is also given, which is 2. So you can just cancel it out. It is 10 root 3 and centimeters square per second, because area by time is centimeters square per second. So this is your answer. So what is the option you are going to choose and how are you going to write, if at all you have to write? This is the way. Now the radius of the sphere is changing at the rate of 0.1 centimeter per second. So basically dr by dt is given as 0.1 centimeter per second. The rate of change of its surface area when the radius is 200 centimeters. So rate of change of its surface area is 4 pi r square. So surface area is what? Surface area is 4 pi r square. So assume it to be s, it will be better to understand. So this ds by dt is going to be 4 pi r square is 2r dr by dt. So we need this, what is 8 pi, this is 2 and this is 0.1. Okay, so r is 200 centimeter and this is 1 by 10. 0.1 is 1 by 10. So when you compute this, you are going to get C ds by dt and the rate of change of surface area. So this computation is 160 pi centimeter square per second. This is your answer. Now this is the reference for you how actually I did it. This is how you're going to write. A cone whose height is always equal to its diameter is increasing in volume at the rate of 40 centimeter cube per second. So this is radius and the whole is diameter. Diameter is 2r. So the height is always equal to the diameter. So diameter is d or 2r you can write. This is one situation. Is increasing in volume at the rate of this. So dV by dt is 40 centimeter cube per second. At what rate is the radius increasing? So dr by dt has to be computed, and when its circular base area is 1 meter square. Circular base area is pi r square in this case. So pi r square is 1 meter square. So we have centimeter meter, so either convert 14 centimeter cube into meter cube or this 1 meter square as centimeter square. 1 meter as 100 centimeters, so it will be 100 square. It will be 10 to the power 4, 10000. So 10 to the power 4 centimeter square is the pi r square. Volume is 1 by 3 pi r square h. So we have to find out the radius rate. So we have to eliminate h. H is already given as 2r. So we have 2 by 3 pi r cube v. Now let us find dy by dt. dv by dt will be 2 by 3 pi r cube will be 3r square dr by dt. And then you can cancel this 3. We have 2 pi r square dr by dt. So in case of pi r square, just put 10 to the power 4 that we have already computed. This is dr by dt. So dv by dt is this 40. You can put it here. So dr by dt is 40 divided by 2 divided by 10 to the power 4. So you can just write it like this. 1 0 you can cancel. That is, this is 2 by 1000. So you just see that there is only one option which is 0.002 centimeter per second, because we have converted everything into centimeter. 2 by 1000 centimeter per second, that is 0.002, and that is the answer. You have to choose the fourth option in this, and the way you have to do it, I explained you what has to be answered, what is being given, and this is the whole reference for you. Let me just clear it so that you see this content very clearly. These are the step-by-step writing work. A cylindrical vessel of radius 0.5 meter is filled with oil at the rate of 0.25 pi meter cube per minute. So this is meter cube, so we are given dV by dt, and that is 0.25 pi. And then the rate at which the surface of the oil is rising. So height, how this content is increasing, the oil in this case. So the rate of change of height we have to find out. dH by dt we have to find out. So volume is pi r square h. Now it's better that those things which are constant we can just directly write it, rather than differentiating in the product rule. We have to assume r square is constant, then we have to differentiate h, and vice versa in the next case. So I'm just writing this as 0.5. This is already given, 0.5 whole square, and this is r square. And this dH by dt, differentiate both sides, dV by dt. So this is 0.25 pi, denominator of pi, 0.5 into 0.5 is again 0.25. So the numerator denominator will get cancelled out. dH by dt is simply 1. There is cancellation. So there is only one thing which I want to highlight is, rather than differentiating everything using the product rule, whatever is constant, just put it here. You just have to differentiate h. Rather than differentiating r square h as the product rule, I took this r because it is already fixed. Our radius is not increasing. Please remember, the height is, the content is increasing in the fixed shape of right circular cylinder. So it is 1 meter per minute. That is your answer. The distance moved by the particle in time t is given by this. X equals to tq minus 12t square plus 6t plus 8. At the instant when its acceleration is 0, the velocity is. Now distance, the rate of change of distance is velocity. The rate of change of velocity is acceleration. This is how they are related. So dv by dt is acceleration. At the instant when the acceleration is 0. So we'll find out first dx by dt, we'll find out dv by dt, we'll put it at 0, and then whatever comes, we'll again put it back to dx by dt. You'll just see, because velocity has to be, so this x is t cube minus 12t square. I'll just differentiate, okay, I'm directly differentiating it. This t cube is 3t square, 12 into 24t, and this will remain as 6. This is going to be 0. So this is dx by dt. Now that is velocity. Now acceleration, dv by dt we have to find out. So we have to again differentiate this content, but remember this content will be used just now. So 3 to 60 minus 24, this gets cancelled. The acceleration is 0 at the instance when the acceleration is 0. So just put it as 0. 60 is 24, t is 6 4 is 24, so t is 4. Now t is 4 here. Now put this t in this expression so that you get the dv by dt, the dx by dt, which is velocity. So I'm putting t as 4 in this expression, rounded expression. Then it is negative. So dx by dt, which is the volume, velocity. When the acceleration is 0, this is the answer. So there is a relationship between velocity, distance, and acceleration. You need to know. Then only you will be able to solve this. The altitude of a cone is 20 centimeter and its semi-vertical angle is 30 degrees. So cone is like this. It can be upright. It can be like that also. It can be like a hat. It can be like a cone or ice cream cone. This is R. This is H. This is your alpha angle. Altitude is fixed. Height is 20 centimeters. Semi-vertical angle is 30 degrees. So the semi-vertical is changing and the radius is changing, but the height is not changing. Please remember, height will remain as same. So d alpha by dt is 2 degree per second, and the radius of the base is increasing at the rate of, so dr by dt has to become. So we will use the trigonometric identities here. We have r as perpendicular, h as base for this alpha. So tan alpha is r by h. Let us differentiate. Tan alpha is sec square alpha. Alpha will be d alpha by dt. And in the right hand side, height is fixed. So we'll just put it as 1 by 20 centimeter, and r is dr by dt. So we have d alpha by dt. We have to dr by dt. See, cos alpha or cos 30 degree, this is 30 degree, right? Cos 30 degrees is root 3 by 2. So sec will be the invert of this, 2 by root. I'll put it here, 2 by root 3 whole square. dl alpha by dt is 2 degree, and then we have 20 will go in that side, dr by dt. So when you compute this, you'll get the answer as 160 by 3, I guess, right? I'll just compute it because computation is quite easy. The main thing is that h which is 20, has to be kept as 20 in this case. Then we have to use the trigonometric identity, which I used. Tan alpha is r by h, because sometimes you may use some sin alpha, cos alpha, but since r and h is given, I have specifically taken tan alpha. So 160 by 3 centimeter per second is your answer, divided by dt. Now let me give you a reference also. This is how you are going to make the diagram, and you have to write it. For what values of x is the rate of increase of x cube minus 5x square plus 5x plus 8 is twice the rate of increase of x. Now this rate, now assume it to be same y. Now the what values of x is the rate of increase of this content, that is, just assume that we are talking about dy by dt. This is equal to 2 dx by dt, because it is twice the rate of increase of x, so twice of dx by dt. So let us differentiate this. Dy by dt I am taking 3x square minus 10x plus 5, 8 will not be there. And see, once you have differentiated it, this dx by dt also will come, because we are differentiating with respect to what? We are differentiating with respect to t, remember. So twice of dx by dt will come here on the right, and on the left also, because we are differentiating with respect to t, dx by dt will also come. That is the only catch. First we made an equality, which is dy by dt is twice dx by dt. Y is the expression here. So y, whatever content is there, so dy by dt is twice of dx by dt. That we started, right? Now when you differentiate dy by dt, because we are differentiating with respect to t and x is the content, x is the variable, we have to introduce dx by dt on the left also. Dx by dt is right also. So let me write dx by dt for completion, and you can cancel dx by dt. You will get a quadratic equation that you can solve easily. So 3x square minus 10x, and this 5 minus 2 is going to be 3. So plus 3 equals 0. So 3x square, this is, you can just write it as minus 9x minus x plus 3 equals 0. 3x, you can take common x minus 3, minus 1 common, x minus 3 equals 0. So x minus 3 into 3x minus 1 equals 0. From here, x equals to 3. From here, x equals to 1 by 3. This is your answer. Concept, I hope you got the idea. First, make an equality, differentiate both sides, make a quadratic equation, solve for x, and that is the point which will solve your answer. The coordinates of the point on the ellipse 16x square plus 9y square equals 400. So ellipse is a shape like an egg. So here the question is saying that this is the equation of the ellipse where the ordinate decreases at the same rate at which the abscissa increases. Ordinate is y, abscissa is x. So ordinate decreases at the same rate. So dy by dt and dx by dt are related in invert manner. That is, if one increases, other decreases. So what do we do? dy by dt is equal to negative dx by dt, or dx by dt is equal to negative dy by dt. That is what the question is asking and saying. Alright. So this is the one condition we are going to employ in further solution. So dx by dt, they are equal, but equal in negative sense. So you can put negative on the left also, negative on the right also. Now coming to this one. 16x square plus 9y square equals 400. Let us differentiate it. 16, 2x dx by dt plus 9 into 2, 2y dy by dt is equal to 0. Because differentiation of 400 is going to be 0, right? Now, so this left and right you can shift. So this will be, rather than doing 32 2 2, we can see this is common, so you can just cancel 2 2. I'm not cancelling y, I'm cancelling 2 here. So we have 16 dx by dt is equal to negative 9 dy by dt. So dx by dt is equal to negative dy by dt, or dy by dt is negative dx by dt. You can replace here and you can cancel both sides, but we have a x here, we already have a y here. I told you earlier that I'm not cancelling y, I'm cancelling 2. So dx by dt and dx by dt on either side, or dy by dt on either side can be cancelled, and then you have, because it was negative, so negative will become positive. So we have 16x as 19y, 9y, sorry. Not 19, 9. So x will be equal to 9y by 16. Now coming back here. Now we have to use this equation again, because we need x and y. What are the coordinates points? So again, going back to the relationship, which is 16. I am replacing x by 9y by 16 here. 9y will remain here. 9y square equals to 400. So 16 into 981, y square is equal to 16 into 16 plus 9y square equals 400. 116 you can cancel, and you can multiply everything by 16 on all the terms. So we have 18y square. What is 16 into 9? It's a 144. Y square equals to 400 into 16. So 16 4s are 64. You have 6400 here. So now just add these. 81 plus 144 is going to be 225. So you have 225 y square equals to 6400. Y square is 6400 by 225. Both are the perfect square. So it is going to be 80 by 15. 15 into 15 is 225. There are 15 here. 3 and this is 16. So you have 16 by 3 and one is plus, one is negative. Why? Because it is a square. Remember, whenever you have y square equals say x, so y will be equal to plus minus under root x. Alright. So one time you will take negative 16 by 3 and one time you will take positive 16 by 3. So negative and positive. So the answer should be, so we have 9y by 16. So we have 9y. What is y here? It is 16 by 3. So 9y by 16 is 9 into 16 by 3. Alright. So 3 3s are 9. You can just cancel these. So when you put these value, which is y we got, 1 time 16 by 3, 1 time negative 16 by 3, just place it in this 9y by 16. Alright. So you can cancel these 16, 16, 3 3s are 9. So you have a 3 and negative 3. So with 16 by 3 it is 3. With negative 16 by 3 it is negative 3. So now you have to choose the combination. Means the multiple choice question you have to choose an option. What is an option here? Plus plus minus minus. So there is no negative negative. That is negative 3 or negative 9 16 by 3. It is just plus. So this is the answer. So let me just clear it so that you know what we have done, because you need to know, and if you want to solve it, if it doesn't come in MCQ, in normal question it comes. So how are you going to solve this? So this is 3 comma 16 by 3. X is 3, Y is 16 by 3. The radius of the base of a cone is increasing at the rate of 3 centimeter per minute. So this is the radius. It is increasing. So dr by dt is given as 3 centimeter per second. And altitude is decreasing at the rate of 4 centimeter per minute, which is dh by dt in this case. So dh by dt we are going to use, and this is so decreasing. It has to be negative. We have to put it as negative. All right. Now rate of change of lateral surface. Now lateral surface is a new thing which we are dealing in this question. So radius is 7 and altitude is 24. Rate of change of lateral surface. So ds by dt. If we call it as s, ds by dt. Now the cone lateral surface is pi into r into L. What is this L? See, this L we don't have. We have to deal with this. This is r, this is h. So first find out the L, which is the slant height. So this L square is equal to r square plus h square. This is the Pythagoras theorem you can use. When you have 7 and 24, let us find this also. 7 square plus 24 square. So L square it will be. L square. 7 7 is 49. 24 into 24 we can multiply. So we have this 675. So 676 plus 49 is 725. So when 725 is there, you can take an under root, and when you take the under root, it is going to be 25. So for the r and h being given, we have found out the slant height. Now going ahead with this question, we have to eliminate this L. L is not given. Okay, only r and h, dr by dh, dh by dt, this is given. So anyways, we have to get rid of L. How are we going to do that? See, so s square, we'll just square both the sides. So s square is equal to pi square, r square and L square, because we don't want to deal with the root. That's why I squared both the sides. So pi square, r square. In L square you can write h square plus r square or r square plus h square. Now you can just multiply inside, and then you can see that we are going to differentiate it properly, because r and h both are changing. There is no constant here. R, h and L both all are changing. So s square is this. So this is all which you have to do. So we have not started the differentiation. We have to differentiate it now. So s square equals to this one on the right hand side, and r is given. L also we have found out. So s is pi into r into L. Pi, what is r? 7. L we have found out as 25. So in place of s, because we are going to differentiate s square, it will be 2s ds by dt. So we need to have s. That is the lateral surface area. Pi square, differentiation of r to the power 4 is 4r cube. Dr by dt it will come. Then pi square. Then inside this we have r square, h square. So r square, differentiation of h square is 2h dh by dt. plus now h square will come out. Differentiation of r square is 2r dr by dt. Okay. Now we have everything now. That is, we have computed as this pi into 7 into 25. You can put it here. So 2 into pi into 7 into 25 ds by dt is equal to, now this pi square, let be there. Pi square 4 into r cube. What is r? 7. So 7 cube. dr by dt is 3. Write it here. Plus pi square. Now inside this we have r square, which is 7 square. Then 2 into h. h is 24. And dh by dt is negative 4. I just missed it. I will write it just now. And h square is 24 square. 2r. 2 into 7 into dr by dt, which is 3 again. So there is one thing remaining, which is dh by dt. We have to just write minus 4 here. So negative 4 I am including here. Negative 4. Okay, now you see everything is known to us. There is just computation. So when you compute ds by dt, it's going to come as 54 pi centimeter square per second. So previous questions, if one value is not changing, you can directly put the constant or the value which is given in the question. But since here everything is changing, r, h, if they are changing, this is an indication that this L is also going to change. The radius of a sphere is increasing at the rate of 0.2 centimeter per second. So dr by dt is given as 0.2 centimeter per second. The rate at which the volume of the sphere increases when radius is 15 centimeter. That is, r is 15. We have to find out dv by dt. What is volume? Volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube. So dv by dt is going to be 4 pi r square into dr by dt. Now 4 pi r square, so 15 whole square, dr by dt is 0.2. Now just have to compute this, okay? The logic you understood? It will be 180 pi centimeter cube per second, which is the second option here. The volume of a sphere is increasing at 3 centimeter cube per second. So dv by dt is equal to 3 centimeter cube per second. The rate at which the radius increases when the radius is 2 centimeters. So dr by dt we have to find out when the radius is 2. So this is quite known to you, means you have learned about this question, done this question multiple times. V equals 4 by 3 pi r cube, dv by dt is 4 pi r square dr by dt, and then dr by dt, this dv by dt, all things are given. dr by dt can be computed. So this is r is 4, so I am bringing this 4 pi r square down, and dr by dt is this one. So this is 3 by 16 pi centimeter per second. So this is the concept computation you can do very well. You know how to do this when the values are with you. The distance moved by a particle traveling in straight line in t second is given by this. The time taken by the particle to come to rest is, come to rest means stop. Stop means that velocity or the speed is 0. Right? Now the distance, if you assume it to be x or s in this case, so differentiation of distance, the rate of change of distance is nothing but the velocity. And when you differentiate the velocity, you will get the acceleration. But we are not talking about the acceleration here. So velocity, the time taken by the particle to come to rest is simply the velocity is 0. So ds by dt. Let us differentiate. 45. It is 2 into 11, 22 t. This is minus 3t square. So this is ds by dt, and it is going to be velocity is equal to 0. The time taken by the particle to come to rest, velocity is 0. So we'll just multiply negative on either side so that we get a proper quadratic equation. So 3t square minus 22t minus 45 plus, I'll just change it to negative 45. So we have 45 as 5 nines are 45, we have 3, so 9 is 27, 5. So 27 minus 5 or minus 27 plus 5 is going to be minus 20. So we write 3t square minus 27t plus 5t plus 45. So 3t we take common, t minus 9, we take 5, t minus 9. As I said, this has to be negative. I'll just change it. Okay. T minus 9 is equal to 0. T minus 9 into 3t plus 5 equals 0. T is equal to 9 in this case. T is equal to negative 5 by 3 in this case. A negative time cannot be negative. T is 9. This is your answer. The volume of a sphere is increasing at the rate of 45 centimeter cube per second. The rate of increase of the radius when the volume is 288 pi centimeter cube. So dv by dt is 4 pi. The rate of increase of the radius dr by dt is to be found out when the volume is already given. Volume is 288 pi. This we have to find out. So we'll do the same thing here. First we'll find out the radius. Then we'll keep it or place it when we differentiate dv, it means we do dv by dt. Okay, so we have v equals 4 by 3 pi r cube. Volume is already given in the question, which is 288 pi is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube. This r cube can be computed because 288 into 3 by 4, it is going to give you 216. I'm just computing it, and this is just very simple for you. You can do it by yourself easily. And r is equal to 6. Cube root of 216 is 6. 6 into 6 into 6 is nothing but 216. So radius we got. And after getting this radius, we can jump into the next part, which is the differentiation of volume. Let us go ahead. So we are doing this. dv by dt is equal to 4 pi r square dr by dt. So 4 into pi into r is 6. We have just computed it. 6 square dr by dt. We have to find out. dv by dt is already given, which is already 4 pi. It's given in the question. So you just see 4 pi gets cancelled. 6 square goes into the denominator, which is 1 by 36. So dr by dt is 1 by 36, which is the third option in this. So there is no unit being written, so don't worry about that. But in if this question doesn't come in the MCQ, then you have to write. If the rate of change of volume of a sphere is equal to the rate of change of its radius, then its radius is equal to. So dv by dt is equal to dr by dt. This is given in the question. Then the radius is equal to dv by dt, and dr by dt are equal. So volume is what? 4 by 3 pi r. dv by dt is equal to 4 by 3 pi means when you do 3r square, this 3 gets cancelled. 4 pi r square dr by dt. dv by dt dr by dt equal 4 pi r square equal to 1. R square is equal to 1 by under 4 pi. 1 by 2 root pi is the answer. So this is 1 by 2 root pi. This is the answer. So in MCQ, you have to write this. If the rate of change of area of a circle is equal to the rate of change of its diameter, then the radius is equal to rate of change of area. So dA by dt is equal to the rate of change of its diameter. What is diameter? Diameter is twice of radius. So we are talking about d by dt, and this d is nothing but twice of r. So it is, if you can take constant outside, 2 dr by dt we are talking about. So dA by dt is twice dr by dt. Alright. So now things are clear to you. Area is pi r square. dA by dt is pi 2r dr by dt. Now in place of dA by dt, you can write 2 dr by dt. Okay, and you cannot cancel this. I've just cancelled it, but it is dA by dt cannot be cancelled with dr by dt. dA by dt has to be replaced by twice of dr by dt. Then the answer will come. So it is not 1 by 2 pi. It is twice, because we are replacing dA by dt with 2 dr by dt. So 2 by 2 pi is 1 by pi. 2 by 2 pi is 1 by pi. Okay, so this is how we are going to employ this, and 1 by pi units is the radius which we need to find out. So this is 2 to cancel 1 by pi as I was ascertaining, and this is your answer, 1 by pi. Okay, 1 by pi units is the answer. Each side of an equilateral triangle is increasing at the rate of 8 centimeter per hour. Now please remember, centimeter, sometimes they will give in meters, sometimes, so you have to change the units. I am saying the units have to be equated, then only you follow the other things. So this each side of an equilateral triangle is increasing at the rate of 8 centimeter per hour. So dx by, if you assume x as the side, dx by dt is 8. The rate of increase of its area. So dA by dt has to be computed x when it is 2. So a is root 3 by 4 x square. dA by dt root 3 by 4 x square is 2x dx by dt. So root 3 by 4. 2x is 2 here. dx by dt is also given as 8. So this 2 is, that is, so 8 root 3 it is going to be the answer. 8 root 3 centimeters square per hour, and which is also given in this part. Means first part is this one. Means first option. Now S is given like this. It describes the motion of a particle, then its velocity when the acceleration vanishes is. Acceleration vanishes is A is 0. Acceleration is nothing but the rate of change of velocity. dv by dt we are talking. This is acceleration. Acceleration 0 means dv by dt is equal to 0. S is a distance. What is velocity? Rate of change of distance. So ds by dt is velocity. So S is given as t cube minus 4t square plus 5. So I'm differentiating directly. 3t square minus 8t. So this is your ds by dt. Now since acceleration is given as 0, we have to differentiate this again. So dv by dt we have to find out. So this is dv by dt. I'm differentiating it again. dv by dt. So you have 6t minus 8 equals this as 0. So t is equal to 8 by 6. So time is 4 by 3 here. Now this time 4 by 3. Now time is known to us now. So t is 4 by 3. So we have to replace this, because when the acceleration vanishes, what is the velocity? Okay. Velocity expression was what? 3t square minus 8t, if you remember. Just put t as 4 by 3 here. 3 into 4 by 3 whole square minus 8 into 4 by 3. 3 into 4 for the 16 by 3 into 3. So you can cancel 1 3 here. And 8 for the 32 by 3. 16 by 3 minus 32 by 3 is negative 16 by 3. So minus 16 by 3. And this is your answer. This is your answer. Minus 16 by 3. The equation of a motion of particle is this. When s is in meter and t is in second, the velocity of the particle when its acceleration is 2 meter per second square. So same thing we have to do. Assume this as s. S is the distance. ds by dt is volume. Rate of change of distance is volume. And rate of change of volume is acceleration. This is what we have learned. So velocity of particle has to be found out. That is ds by dt we have to find out. So s is 2t square plus sine 2t. So this is the reference for you. ds by dt will compute first. ds by dt. So it is a 4t plus cos 2t. Differentiation of 2t is going to be 2. And remember, we are differentiating with respect to t. So dv by dt. Now again I am differentiating this. 4t will be 4. Cos 2t is minus sine 2t. And this is 2 and 2. So 4. Now when the acceleration is 2 meter per second square. So equate it with 2. 4 minus 4 sine 2t is equal to 2. So 4 sine 2t is going to be 4 minus 2, that is 2. 4 sine 2t is 2 here. So sine 2t is going to be equal to 2 by 4. That is going to be half. Now sine theta, for which it is going to be half, is nothing but 30 degree. Pi by 6. So 2t is pi by 6. You can write t as pi by 12 also. ds pi by 12. So 2t is pi by 6. Now ds by dt we have to find out. Now since we have now access to t, we can easily find out the velocity, that is ds by dt. So in place of t you can write this. Pi by this is 12 and t is pi by 12 plus 2 into cos 2 into t. So multiply 2, pi by 6 will come. So you get 4 3s are 12. So you get first term as pi by 3. The second term is 2 cos pi by 6 is root 3 by 2. So pi by 3 plus root 3. This is pi by 3 plus root 3 meter per second. Okay, this is already given in meter and second. So you can just write it like this. The answer is pi by 3 plus root 3. Alright, this is your answer. The radius of a circular plate is increasing at the rate of 0.01 centimeter per second. So dr by dt is 0.01 centimeter per second. The rate of increase of its area when the radius is 12 centimeter is. So dA by dt has to be computed when r is 12 cm. So this question you have done many times. So this area is pi r square. dA by dt is pi 2r dr by dt. dr by dt is already given. R is already given. So pi into 2 into 12 into this 0.01. Just write 0.01. So when you compute this, it is going to be 24. 24 into 0.01 is 0.24. So it is 0.024 pi centimeter square per second. The fourth option seems to be this. The second option seems to be correct. The third option, sorry. C is the correct answer. So it's just computation, other things you know very well. The diameter of a circle is increasing at a rate of 1 centimeter per second. So we have d by dt. This d can be capital, you can write it as capital. It's 1 centimeter per second. So what is the diameter? Diameter is twice of radius. Or you can say radius is half of diameter. So this you can just write it as 2r. So dr by dt, twice of dr by dt is 1 centimeter per second. This is just for your understanding. We are not going to use this in the solution. But its radius is pi. So radius is pi, the rate of increase of its area. So dA by dt has to be found out. Okay, you know already the area, but you have to write the area in terms of diameter now. Area in terms of radius you already know. So how are we going to write this? Because as I told you that diameter is twice of radius. Radius is half of diameter. So area of circle is pi r square. This diameter and radius has some relation. Diameter is twice of r. So r is capital D by 2. So A is pi D by 2 whole square pi D square by 4. Now you can differentiate it. dA by dt is pi by 4. This is 2d dd by dt. That's why I explained you. This is pi by 4 and twice of d will also come. Twice of diameter and dd by dt. Now dd by dt is already given to us 1 centimeter per second. Radius is also given to us pi. So here is a relationship between diameter and radius. You can just write it here. Pi by 4 into 2 Diameter is this 2 pi. Diameter is 2 pi because the radius is pi, so diameter will be 2 pi. And this is 1 centimeter per second. So you can cancel these for pi square centimeter square per second. So A is the correct answer. A man 2 meters tall walks away from a lamppost 5 meter height at the rate of 4.8 kilometer an hour. The rate of increase of the length of his shadow is. Now this type of question we have already done. So I'll just show you the diagram. Try to recall that this is your 5 meter height of lamppost. A person height is 2 meter. Let us make it like this. So he is moving on away from the lamppost. So this is the rate of going away is 4.8 kilometer an hour. Assume it to be x. So dx by dt is given in the question as 4.8 kilometer an hour. This may change. The rate of increase of the length of his shadow. So what will be the length of shadow? Here it is y. So dy by dt has to be found out. Let's make a triangle. There are two triangles here, the bigger triangle and the lower triangle. So we have dy by dt is equal to what is to be computed. So assume it to be label it, and there are two bigger triangles as I suggested, and the two true triangles are, since they are similar, the corresponding sides will have equal ratio. Similar means 5 divided by 2 will be equal to this 5 divided by 2 is this, and x plus y is the whole one. This is x plus y divided by, you have a y here, y. So these are the corresponding sides ratio which I told you. So this is going to be 5y equals 2x plus 2y. I am cross multiplying and this comes in front. So 5y minus 2y is 3y, 3y is 2x. Now differentiate both the sides. 3 dy by dt is 2 dx by dt, and dx by dt is already given to you, twice of 4.8 kilometer an hour. This is dy by dt, 3 is here. This is 3 once 1.6. So 2 into 1.6 is 3.2. 3.2 kilometer an hour. Okay. So this is your answer, and this is the way you have to do it. All the diagrams and all the languages you have to write. A man of height 6 feet walks at a uniform speed of 9 feet per second. Exactly same question with different values. So 9 feet per second walking away. A man who is 6 feet with 6 feet high, and 15 feet is the height of the lamppost. 15 and 6 I have written. Making a triangle. There are two triangles actually. X and y, we have assumed this dx by dt. So dx by dt is 9 feet per second, and dy by dt has to be computed, evaluated. Okay. So same thing we are going to do. We will assume that there are two bigger triangles who are similar, and once they are similar, the ratio of the corresponding sides are equal. So 15 by 6 is equal to x plus y divided by y. Now cross multiply. 15y is equal to 6x plus 6y. 6y goes here. It will be 9y equals 6y. Divide both sides by 3. You will get 3y equals 2x. Now differentiate both the sides. 3 divided by dt equals 2 dx by dt. Now dx by dt is already known to us. Just put 9 here, and dy by dt will be 2 into 9 divided by 3. So 2 cross 9 divided by 3. 3 3s are 9. 3 2s are 6. So 6 feet per second is the answer. Okay. Exactly the same question which we just encountered a bit seconds earlier. In a sphere, the rate of change of volume is. So sphere, the volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube, and as I have been repeatedly discussing with you, that when you differentiate it will be equal to the surface area. So V is 4 by 3 pi r cube. When you take this dV by dt, it's going to be 4 by 3 pi, and this r cube is 3r square, then dr by dt. So this 3 gets cancelled, and 4 pi r square is nothing but the surface area. So surface area into dr by dt it is. So what will be the answer? In a sphere, the rate of change of volume is surface area times the rate of change of radius. Surface area times the rate of change of radius. This is the answer. Alright. So this is the option which you can choose. And this is, if somebody tells you to write, this is the way you are going to write and show that all the steps which we have followed. In a sphere, the rate of change of surface area is. Now this question is a little bit tricky because the surface area is 4 pi r square, you already know. ds by dt, you can easily compute it or differentiate it. 4 pi 2r dr by dt. So you get 8 pi r dr by dt. So this answer is matching with 8 pi times the rate of change of radius. So fourth is the correct answer. But what about the r? If we go to the first option, which is 8 pi times the rate of change of diameter, it's not going to work because it has to be twice. R should be 2. If the question is has provided us that the radius is 2, then it would have been the first option. But this question, that's why I told you, it's somewhat in a hazy kind of say side that we cannot correctly say, but we can match the result. Okay, so that is why I told you to choose the fourth option. Otherwise, if the question is giving when the R is 2, then the first option will be almost correct. A cylindrical tank of radius 10 meter is being filled with wheat at the rate of 314 cubic meter per hour. So a wheat being poured in a cylindrical tank, the radius is, and everything other thing is fixed. But as we put the grain or the wheat, the height of the grain increases. That height has to be computed. The depth, the rate of increment of that height has to be computed. The radius is 10 meter. This rate of change of volume dv by dt is also 314. dh by dt is the point which we have to calculate. These are the grains I am showing. They are increasing, so the height is increasing. Okay, so volume is pi r square h, and as I said, because the radius is fixed, we just have to replace this r by 10, so you can make it as 10 square. So dv by dt is given. Let us put it here. dv by dt equals pi into r. In place of r, just write 10, so pi into 10 square, and then dh by dt. So I have differentiated both the sides, but kept the radius 10 because it is fixed. Now it is 314 pi into 10 square dh by dt, and we already know the pi is 3.14. 22 by 7, 3.14. So 3.14 into 10 square is 314 only. So it is essentially equal to 314 divided by 314, or you can call it as 3.14 divided by 100, and this 10 square 100 cancel, 314 cancel, dh by dt is your 1 meter an hour. That's your complete answer. Okay, this is all about this exercise. Thank you so much and enjoy.